Hey, what's going on, friends, family? My name is Skylent, and as always, there is a new MMO and some new news about that new MMO to talk about. I love talking about online games, for sure, and especially those that really speak to like hopes and dreams and the fantasies that the MMO genre specifically, though, just really engage in all of us. You know, the community, we can't stop talking about these games. So here we go. We got another one that is, yes, another Kickstarter, you know, hopes and dreams and very fantastic conceptually styled game where we have basically a game called Fractured really selling itself as the dynamic MMO. Now, this was actually kickstarted. This is old news. Like, this has already been kickstarted. It actually had a funding. They just kind of barely passed it, about over 10% of their goal, which was 100,000. Is that euros? Probably euros. Anyways. So not too much money for a full MMO, but I guess just to get it kickstarted, you know? So they did get it funded, and basically Fractured, the dynamic MMO, is an open world sandbox MMO action RPG. Now this might, if you see the footage in the background, and as well as we talk about it, sound very similar to a game that has already released that also was crowdfunded named Albion Online, which is doing fantastically. Fractured, however, seems much more similar to the roots of action RPG, especially with its aesthetic and many of its mechanics and potentially its game feel. I think it got this more dark fantasy, more realistic-ish kind of tone to it. But anyways, so the exciting news that we have about this game is that here in the month of May 2020, we got this open playtest. It's going to be free access to Fractured, and that's happening here. It's going to be a stress test for the game, May 28th, with no pledge. However, it actually begins May 26th if you are a backer. So we're going to be able to test this game, all of us, stress test it. If you've ever done one of these before, you know that stuff breaks, but that's also the point. But it could be a good chance to get some footage about the game, get some news, and have some people's thoughts and feelings on the base mechanics that are already in the game. Now, this is a game that is not ready to be released in the least, and it's not going to be pretty, I think, especially coming from its humble beginnings, but it is still something very exciting, especially as we are about to talk about some of the features that this game is really promoting. But then again, Kickstarter games, that's just how they are. Hopes and dreams, right? And hopefully it's not smoke and mirrors. But we do have this open playtest. So this is the last one, was in February, which had 15,000 users stress testing the game, which is pretty great. Didn't seem like a lot of news came from that exactly. Hundreds of characters logged in altogether during the peak times. So hopefully this test we're going to have even more, but this is a proper MMO. It is going to be open world sandbox in nature and have hundreds of players playing together. Tuesday, May 26th at 2 p.m. CEST or 8 a.m. EDT. Access will be granted to the backers, and we'll talk about those pledges and how you can get into the game and how much that costs right now, but obviously backers of the Kickstarter get in then. May 28th, you can get in for all registered users, so you're not a pledge, and then Monday, June 1st, the playtest will be over, and that ends at specifically 10 a.m. CEST or 2 a.m. EDT. So it's new. What are we actually going to be testing and playing? Because all these stress tests for all these different games have different modules or, you know, different sort of micro or vertical slices. So during this particular test, we're going to be able to do everything that has been tested before, apparently. And then also there's going to be some stuff to check out as well. So I guess there's going to be some quality of life changes from what I see here as well. Additionally, proper death is actually going to be implemented into the game. I'm actually very surprised that that's not like the first thing that was ever in the game, but proper death is in here, which means that a character dying now leaves behind a corpse with all the equipment in the inventory. This is a hardcore styled game, apparently, so you do need to keep that in mind. Yep, drop everything on death. I guess that mechanic is finally officially in the game. As well, we're going to have something called player militias. Player militias are a surprise edition meant to spice up the PvP on Syndesia while waiting for the criminal system to be implemented. So criminal system isn't all the way in, but that is something that's going to be there. Hardcore game, yeah, so I guess we're going to have militias. This is how the system's going to work. Here we go. Anytime while in town, a player can choose to have his or her character join or leave one of the 4 predefined NPC and militias, which sounds much like a faction system as well. It is character-based, not account-based. If a character is part of a militia, it can freely attack and loot members of other militias, so exactly like a faction system. A militia can be quit at any time, though you do have a 3-day waiting period before going to a new one, so you can't just do some ridiculous espionage and spying, but maybe that's a possibility. It just would be more on a guild and macro scale. Members of a guild can't join or leave militias. Interesting. If a guild master joins or leaves a militia, the whole... Okay, so that's how that works. So that you can be a member of a militia, but it's as entirely as a guild. Keep that in mind, but I really feel like this would be very easily overcome by having alternate characters and spy-oriented characters as well. Militias aren't temporary amusement. Once the criminal system is implemented, being part of a militia will allow players to fight against other militia members, bypassing alignment and karma rules. So that's how that works. You can have the faction system, but then also, if you want to, you can still be a criminal. So being a criminal is something that will be implemented eventually, but you will not be having the full hardcore experience just yet, but sort of a pseudo hardcore experience will be in this test, and all the other features that were implemented before. So this test seems to be the one that will be like, okay, this is the first time that the game might begin to feel like it has a proper gameplay loop. Again, that's May 28th is when it starts, and when you're probably going to start seeing footage and people talking about the game a little bit more. But anyways, more about this game though, if you guys actually don't know, Fractured is supposed to be a unique game, and what makes it unique is that it's supposedly, conceptually this is what they're calling it, the first open world sandbox MMORPG mixing action combat with fully interactable environments, appealing equally to lovers of competitive and cooperative gameplay. Jump right into the fray from day one, defeat your enemies through your own skill and cleverness, not equipment or level. Gather resources, craft, trade, and venture into legendary travels as a solitary hero, or start a settlement with your guild and grow it into the next empire. Now, there is actually some complaints about some of the features that we just kind of glossed over and we will actually be talking about, but this is a hardcore sandbox MMO. Whether we get to play the full gameplay loop in this test or eventually, whatever, otherwise, the thing is that this game is not going to be totally focused on gear, equipment, or leveling. It's going to be more focused on skill-based gameplay, but whether we actually see that in the footage and whether you enjoy that or not is going to be debatable, especially, comparing it to Albion. Maybe it's something that you're really going to like, that it's not quite fully grind-based, but then it's like, what do you work for and stuff like that. But yeah, anyways, so there's 3 races and 3 different gameplays, apparently. In Fractured, choosing where you start your journey doesn't mean just following a different series of quests in an otherwise identical game. Join the first MMO, where the race you begin to has an actual impact on the game mechanics, from the type of society you live in to the ways that you can interact with other players. So you have humans, which have apparently total free will. No human is born good or bad, and a number of other features, things supposedly the game will have. Then you have Beastmen, which is living in harmony. So it might be more D&D oriented, where the race or maybe the classes that you choose are going to be more aligned with a sort of society or a way of living. The Beastmen are kind of like druids or dryads, actually. And then you have demons, which I'm going to be a demon when I play this game, blood and terror. So as you might see, you kind of have your neutrals with the humans, you have your lawfuls with Beastmen, and chaotic with the demons. We'll see. Well, I don't know. We'll see what goes on from there. But 3 totally different races: humans, plant people, and demons. Which I don't even know if I can show the pictures for that on YouTube, but I will because it's art. So they actually promote crafters and merchanting a lot in the game as well. Keep that in mind. Farming and shepherding, actually. Mining, wood cutting, as well as hunters and scavengers. I do like that they specify that hunting is something that is part of the gathering process. Something that also works in Albion Online to a great degree, I might add. So that's really cool that they have that as well. Anyways, talking about progression, that's going to be the main thing that a lot of people are going to find contentious, is going to be the progression. Jump right into the action. They want this game to be something that you just immediately are doing the real game. So they say, tired of MMOs where the fun begins 80 hours after you started playing? ? In Fractured, you're free to join your friends in the most epic adventures right off the bat. Once the strengths and weaknesses of your characters are set, you'll be on a quest for knowledge and reputation, not attribute points. So how that actually translates We will find out. A lot of games love claiming that there's not much grind or you really get to the real meat game or taters. Often it just shows to be very shallow, or there still is a grind and it was just exaggerated that there wouldn't be one. So goodbye grind, welcome knowledge. They keep saying this mechanic, so I'm very interested in how this exactly works. So say goodbye to the conventional RPG level and skill systems you've seen way too often and embrace the power and flexibility of the knowledge system. It's about time you get rewarded for your courage and cleverness, not for the hours you've spent hunting zombies or punching a training dummy. So the knowledge system, as far as I know, in many games there's a knowledge system where it's like, you don't know how to craft. Crafting isn't a craft. Crafting is like, just eventually you'll learn the recipe and then you can click a button and craft it. If the knowledge system works like that in this game, then it's still a grind, you know? But hopefully there's like genuine things and mechanics and puzzles that you have to figure out. But I don't know. We'll find out. Every day, a new gameplay, they actually say. That's some big words there. Take a moment to rest in front of a fire in your home, a tavern of your group's encampment. Prepare a set of abilities to define your role in battle and assign your talent points to finely tune your build. Done? Time to enjoy the freedom of a MOBA with the persistence of an MMO. And I think that's really exciting. I think the idea of having some very cool, fun loot that is crafted, that's something to keep in mind. That's another contentious point, is unlike normal action RPG where you go out and find legendary or really wacky items, you will be crafting everything. So hopefully there's still some very fun items there. But basically, when you're in town, you're going to be setting up your kit. This is actually identical. Well, it won't be mechanically done identical to Albion, but it is a very similar concept to Albion Online, where your gear and your weapons and your whole, your abilities, your kit is set when you're in towns and stuff, and then you go out on your adventures. So Albion also heavily inspired by MOBAs, like League of Legends, but you make your own kit. But then you run out into the MMO. The problem here is that in Albion you can run out and I guess, there's a couple of different things that you can do, and there is some loot that you can find out in the world. But I guess technically everything in Albion is crafted too and then traded. I guess it is pretty similar. But this game, some people are worried that because it is drawing so many parallels to action RPG, that it might not be as fun. But really, we do have Albion, and to an extent, no, it works pretty fun. It really does. Yeah, no, I think this will be fine. But I don't think you're gonna have that loot pinata feeling of going out getting a cool random rare weapon. But we'll see how the game actually turns out from there. Anyways, those are going to be the main talking points, I think, aside from talking about the action combat, but I'm actually going to kind of slip on this one because I haven't seen gameplay footage of this really. Now, in Albion, actually, Albion is pretty action-packed and inspired by the combat from League of Legends. There's many mechanics like wind walls and stuff that are straight up from the most mechanical characters inside of that. I wish there was maybe some more skill shots, but Albion does have a lot of skill shots. This one is saying action combat evolved. Now, frankly, and I've already done rant videos on this, but a lot of ARPG, such as Path of Exile, are actually not that action-oriented in terms of mechanical play. There's not that many skill shots, there's not that many actions per minute that you as the player are committing. It's mostly point, click, and one ability is filling the screen with spectacular action, but in terms of button presses and what you actually do as a character, not that action-packed. So how this game leans has me very worried, but it says that Fractured is out to break the boundaries of the MMO genre by bringing the combat style you've loved in single-player action RPGs, and actually that's what I'm worried about, into a complex sandbox universe. Learn to aim, dodge, and master over 400 abilities and 40 unique status effects. Only your skills and tactics will lead to your victory, which is exciting. If we can have Path of Exile, but as an MMO, sure, that'll be great. However, though, the Path of Exile developers have said that that would be an incredibly difficult undertaking, and there's a reason why that hasn't been done. But we'll also see, normally action RPGs, again, aren't that action-packed, and the thing that makes them special is how you can modify your builds and your abilities. Have a fireball that then splits when it hits an enemy that then explodes, and, if an enemy dies from that, it spawns more fireballs, and the fireballs ricochet off walls, and, it just gets really fucking ridiculous. But in this game, it seems like it's proclaiming that it's going to be more similar to Albion Online, which again is going to be its direct competitor despite aesthetical differences. But from what I've seen so far, based on theme and core gameplay and really its inspiration, I don't know if that's going to be true. But we'll see. Fully interactable environments, though, is something that is incredibly exciting, even if we don't have many skill shots and stuff like that. If the game is more tactics focused, where you will be lighting grass and trees on fire, if you will be using thunder near lakes or things like that, maybe you can rush some people into water and then you have some lightning mages shock them. Tactics like that are going to be really awesome as well. If maybe like the PvE, if a monster is very weak to electrical attacks but has an affinity for water and is in water, then you're probably going to want to bring a lightning spell because it's going to be very effective. You know, just really obvious stuff like that. And it could be very fun. And I think I would be very engaged. This is stuff that you see so light, like it's very lightly in games like Skyrim, maybe barely used. In a few other single-player action RPGs, you kind of have this, but it would be awesome in an MMO, especially with such a big world and such, you know, so much freedom as the player to choose how they conquer things. It would be great if this was actually something that they really stuck with. Now, on the website, they give examples of maybe you're trying to run away from a whole clan of bandits. So you run across a river by freezing the river, and then as you cross it, you actually melt the ice so that they can't cross as well, or you even drown them potentially. So stuff like that, very emergent gameplay, has me incredibly excited. It sounds really broken, and that's exactly what I want in my ARPG-inspired MMO. But also on their section of dynamism, which is just such a buzzword right now, build and govern an empire. You will be building and governing an entire empire. This is a mechanic that we saw, I don't know, I didn't play Ultima, but people liked building stuff in Ultima. It was something that was hinted at Albion, but then they scrapped that concept. We'll see if this game actually goes the distance, but they say looking for a new home, find a suitable location and start a settlement with your guild. And as a governor, you'll be able to guide its development into a social or trading or even military hub. Beware though, the rise of power of your city won't go unnoticed. So get ready to protect it from hostile raids and sieges. Whether that means PvE or PvP, I don't know, but this is kind of something that's happening in a few sandbox games. Like again, Albion wanted to do something like this and change their mind. We actually kind of are going to have a soft version of this in New World, but this game will probably aim for a more hardcore and true to the concept idea here. I think it'll work out. Hopefully, you know, that's the dream. But yeah, guys. You can sign up now. That's pretty much all the points. You can actually sign up now and check out the development as we follow it here. I definitely would like to make a guild and, you know, build a city, a demon city. Absolutely. We're going to probably go for a genocidal concept. I don't know. Who knows? I think it's going to be fun. Oh, by the way, in case it matters to somebody, this is actually going to be a Unity MMO built with Spatial OS. And if you guys know about those two or the Unity engine as well as Spatial OS style MMOs, there is some worry about that. If I'm not mistaken, can somebody correct me on this, but every Spatial OS game that I have wanted to play, they did not allow for custom servers. So there's a few games that kind of emulate this like fractured, such as Legends of Aria, if I'm not mistaken. They're obviously Albion Online and a few others. And Legends of Aria, though, allows for custom servers and things like that. And that's something that I'm looking forward to more, especially with this game being so oriented around PvP and almost debatably survival mechanics with building up a town and trying to keep it open and running and not burn to the ground. Things like that is, you know, really fun in Arc and stuff like that, but it's only fun really because you can have your own custom servers in case you're not really prepared for the full game. I don't know. Anyways, so we'll see what Spatial OS actually allows for this game to actually run in. But it does say, you know, Spatial OS does promise that they will have, this is what they say, host tens of thousands of concurrent users in the same seamless, fully interactable, they say, universe. So, what that actually means in terms of real MMO gameplay, I don't know. It was very buzzwordy. But anyways, we actually have some more to talk about the cost of this game, and if you want to buy it now. Normally, I don't really promote games, Kickstarters and stuff like that, even though I actually have talked about Fractured before, but you can actually play this game pretty soon, and you might want to, so I guess we'll just talk about the costs and everything. And I'll get to ramble about this anyway. So the Founders Packs, guys, you can get Founders Packs. It's already been funded, technically, on Kickstarter, but if you want to continue funding and play in the tests, so here we go. Next phase is Alpha 2, Test 3. It's set to start. Okay, it's going to be in May. But also, I think you can buy, there's an open stress test, but there will be another test as well in June, unless they're kind of making it up a little bit early with May, the end of May here. Anyways, that's what it says. So there might be 2 tests coming, but anyways, if you want to get into the beta 2 access, which is not alpha 2, keep that in mind. Beta 2, which is honestly probably when you want to play the game anyways, beta 2 or maybe beta 1, that is going to be about $25 it looks like. So about $25 is going to get you into the game. Now there's other things that I want to talk about and rant about for their monetization, but it is going to be $25 to get the beta access. If you want to get beta 1 access, that's going to be $50. But if you want to get this alpha 2 access, early and stuff like that, if you want to play, like, I don't know, as soon as possible, it says $90. But again, this is a stress test that's coming up that we are just, talking about. That's open. It says open to anybody. You don't have to have that. So this is specifically a stress test, but also a stress test tends not to be very good. It tends to be very awkward, but maybe it'll work out. Anyways, the kind of stuff that you're going to get if you guys want to actually buy this game is maybe a little worrying to me. So let's just go ahead with the Legend, the $90 one. So you do get a copy of the game. So this is a boxed game. It costs money, much like how Albion launched actually. So, and then it's going to be Alpha 2 access, cool, whatever. But then you're going to get in-game gold, 10,000, whatever that fucking means. You're going to get in-game gold. So in-game currency is going to be a thing. You're also going to have VIP access, probably going to be extremely similar to Albion Online. You're going to get a forum title, all that stupid stuff. You're going to also get a special house blueprint. So whether that's just aesthetical, I don't know. But it is a blueprint, so you're actually going to have to, build it up. You're going to get a special mount and a wagon, which I am certain will have gameplay sort of ramifications from that, which actually happened in Albion Online as well. You're going to get a reserved character name, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so, and then you're going to get all the previous extra rewards, whatever that means from other things. Now they actually go up to $300. That's pretty crazy. A lifetime VIP membership, and that's pretty much it from there. I don't know. You get character slots. Oh yeah, they're gonna have limited character slots in the game as well. If you spend $150, you get a palace blueprint. So that's actually really important. It's a blueprint. You don't just get an instant house. You just get the blueprint for it. So you're still gonna have to build the house. Some games like to sell entire castles and stuff, and that's debatably pay to win. Though then again, I don't know. How does this gold actually work? So gold, dynamite gold, you can actually purchase this in-game. This is basically a real money transaction. And basically you spend gold in-game, much like you do gems and other titles, and it's for cosmetic items. So you're gonna get unique skins for your mounts, your different pets, house decorations, stuff like that. It's supposed to be all cosmetic, but we'll see about that. You can also purchase pet companions, and it kind of, this is where sure, they're probably gonna make a lot of money on this, but I really love when cosmetics and earnables like pets, that's stuff that you earn in-game, and that's a big achievement. But it looks like they're gonna also have the cash shop with this, like winter foxes, baby dragons, stuff like that. That kind of sucks. That's a little bit tragic to me, but as long as the game is not pay to win. So there's that. And then of course you get decorations for your house, which is probably gonna be a big thing when you're actually building up your whole town. So anyways, that's pretty much how you can buy into the game, and that seems to be hints at their monetization, very similar to Albion Online. What VIP actually entails is very scary though, because I would debate that to many players, depending on how you play, Albion Online looks pay to win, and it could be unfun, especially since it's free to play. This game being boxed game with a cash shop with cosmetics and with a optional, bunny ears VIP subscription service, but this is a PvP competitive game that's focused on guild play. It's not going to be optional. So that, it just is very worrying. And I feel like they need to be more public with that as well. But anyways, I don't think there's much more to talk about with this game. I think overall it looks kind of exciting. If you're wondering, there's like some random kind of mechanics that this game can kind of shout out. It's going to have fishing. It's going to have fishing and animal taming. It's going to have that environmental, elemental sort of interactions. And it doesn't look like there's going to be sailing or anything like that, or pirating. No, it does look like it's very ground or landlocked. But overall, it does seem like if Path of Exile or like maybe had a baby with Albion Online, that's kind of where this game is sort of looking to go, at least just based on first glances. Now, there's definitely more to the game, and there's definitely more nuance, stuff like that to discuss. But for the most part, we kind of have to wait until the game actually fully releases. But anyways, just wanted to give a rundown on this game. Pretty much talked about everything that I wanted to talk about, but if there's anything you want to shout out or maybe even correct me even though I'm trying to look at my citation here, then leave it in the comments below. There's always dev diaries or something is said in a Discord in some corner of the universe that I miss, so please let us know. But are you excited about this game as well as other games that are coming out that are kind of envisioning the same concept, such as New World? The New World is definitely going more Care Bear as well, but I'm definitely excited for a game, also another sandbox action RPG MMO called Corepunk. So there's a few, and I definitely plan to jump back into Albion Online right now. So yeah, what do you guys think about these style games, and what do you think about Fractured specifically, especially after everything that I just said in this video? Anyways, I don't know. Can't ask for much more other than thanks so much, guys, for supporting me on Patreon. It definitely helps a little bit. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, YouTube shit. But really, all I can ask is you keep the hype alive. Much love, and I'll see you again next time.